This is Jed MacKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
This is Noel Tate from Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, Looney listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 296, and you are with both of your high priests of Khonshu, Rebecca and Rey. Rebecca, hello, hello.
Hi, I can't believe we're closing in on 300.
I know we are. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about it today as to, you know, game show format, all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. The
Questions.
Short.
So keep your eyes out shortly, Looney's, in our social media pages for some details for that. But welcome, everybody. We are here again for a Moonshine. It is a another issue from Jed MacKay and Alessandro, Cappuccio, Rachelle, Rosenberg, issue 14. So Rebecca and I will be covering that. Cannot wait. And it's a special issue as well, Rebecca. Some
Really
consultation,
special,
from Lena. We're proud to have as a Looney as well. Before any of that, of course, a big thank you to all our sponsors and all our patroonies, but a big thanks to our principal sponsors, Odin Saw, Drew Toombs, Daniel Doing, Frank the Think Tank, CLZ Comics, and Dreamland Comics from Schoenberg, Illinois. Now, Rebecca, before we get into, of course, the issue, the discussion that we usually have,
Yeah.
a bit of white noise.
Bit of an exciting drop.
Is this true?
As I was going to bed last night.
Is it true? I don't know.
I mean, who knows? Like, so what happened was an Egyptian TikTok user saw Mohammed Diab and Oscar Isaac and asked them about Moon Knight season 2, and Oscar said, "Why else would we be in Cairo? Or why would we be in Cairo?"
That's crazy.
So, you know, look, they're all known to tease. We've got D23 coming up in September. Hopefully we'll know for sure by then. But it sounds positive, right?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first saw it, and you know, I think I woke up to it as well. It's like
you always wake up to whatever I've thrown at you.
Yeah. I didn't put on the sound at first, so I was just kind of, you know, just quickly kind of look and, okay, what's this about?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah. And then I put the sound on, and the girl at the beginning says, you know, what's this talk about? You know, everyone's thinking about Moon Knight season 2. Oh my gosh, I lost it. It was great. So
I know. I was kind of like, why is Mohammed Diab retweeting this TikTok? I was like, I should look, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. Take it for what it is, Loonies. Whether it's a hoax or a joke or genuine, but it seems to be pointing towards a Moon Knight season 2. Do you think this will be something that will be announced at D23?
I think there's some conflicting theories, which is that D23 is just before the Emmys. So some people think Disney don't want to announce it before the Emmys because they submitted it as a limited series, whereas other people are like, well, that was just covering the submission process. If they decided later to, you know, like, there's no reason they shouldn't announce it. And I have to say, this TikTok stroke tweet, because I saw it on Twitter, certainly suggests that they will announce it at D23 if it's going to happen.
Awesome.
Because like, you know, like, you know what Marvel's like about, you know, NDAs and you know that, and they were all great before season 1 about not spoiling anything. So it seems that like they wouldn't even be giving that glimmer of hope unless there was some news. And it's just like, you know, it could cover other things potentially, like him appearing in other things or films. But you know, it's looking likely that Moon Knight season 2. you know.
Yeah,
He's
it looks
no
very.
sleep for us again.
Are you ready to do it all over again, Rebecca?
The goal is to try and get to a viewing this time. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's very exciting, and we don't have long to wait for D23. So,
Yeah.
Mario, hello Mario. Mario drops in a line, and of course, Looney listeners, this is a live stream. So again, just a disclaimer: any references to visual aids that we have, and to live comments, it is because we are live streaming. So get your thoughts in if you are catching us now or if you're listening later. Hope it all makes sense. But Mario says that the user may have been Diab's daughter or niece, and reports vary. I assumed it was his daughter.
I assumed it was a random person who saw them on a boat.
Oh.
But I didn't really pay attention. I was just like, oh, it's come from TikTok and he's retweeting it.
Okay.
So I didn't. And then, but when Olivia posted on the Facebook group and said it was going around Egyptian TikTok, maybe it is. I mean, it certainly looks like. I mean, it certainly could have been. I guess that's why he would answer a question from a relative more honestly than a random person. Also, why they were on a boat with him and Oscar Isaac.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I was just like, they're lucky, like I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I was literally absolutely shattered and just finished watching the first episode of Sandman, and then just went, I've got to go to sleep. I looked through scrolling through Twitter and went, what? I was like, couldn't get it to Rey fast enough.
Oh my gosh! So very, very exciting news there. That's the only thing. I mean, I think that's kind of it bombed everything else out of the sun. So, Loonies, you've probably seen it, but for those who haven't, it is quite an exciting thing, and there will be a link in the show notes there.
Olivia's posted it to the Facebook group too. So.
Oh, and the Facebook group as well. Which I mean, I was aware as well, Rebecca, but we're slightly elitist in the fact it is a private group. But you can. Everyone is free to join. Please join.
Please join the Discord.
Yes. The power. Hey, hello, Chad. It's been ages. It says, I think it was the taxi driver. Could have been. You don't know. But yes, so exciting news.
Scoundrel.
That Scoundrel, exactly. Rebecca, I love it. Speaking of which, let's dive into our Moonshine review. So we are treated again, Rebecca, to another. Oh my God, we'll get through it. We'll get to it. But another issue from Jed MacKay. He can't do any wrong. Moon Knight, Volume 9, Issue 14, released the 3rd of August, 2022. Writer Jed MacKay, of course. Penciler Alessandro Cappuccio returns. We had Federico Sabatini last issue. Colorist Rachelle Rosenberg. Letterer Cory Petit, and editor Tom Brevoort. And we've got a couple of, let me just throw these up on
do it, because I haven't seen the variants for a while.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've only got this from League of Geeks, so I'm not sure if it is the full range.
So that's the main one.
Mm-hmm. The main one's Steven Segovia art, which is really cool.
Very nice,
And the next one is a Spidey variant. It's by Yildirim. And
Yildirim. I'm not super fan of it, but I like the just because Spider-Man looks emaciated. It's very stylish. Like, I love the doves and everything, but
yes,
it freaks me out a little bit. But I'm sure the art is very good. It just freaks me out a little bit.
It's kind of like that same thing, Rebecca, of being like a non-involved character on the front cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's just they never quite. They never grab me as much. I know some people, like, if it happens to be another character you like, but I don't think I'd even get like an Iron Man.
Okay.
On Moon Knight, I just if unless I really hated the main cover, which I don't in this case. So.
Right. Mario's made a good call here. That could have been the 1970s TV costume. Nick Hammond, I think, was the guy that dressed up as Spider-Man.
Look
Also
at
from
you. There.
yeah, I think I'm right. Hopefully, I am. If I'm
sure
not,
you
then
are.
I just pull that name.
You just made it up.
Yeah, exactly. But also well known from The Sound of Music, one of the brothers there. But yeah, that could have well been. Let me just chuck that up slightly again. Yeah.
I don't know if I watched it in the 70s. So.
Yeah, I remember seeing. I can't remember how many there were, or there might have just been one, but I did see one. And it was really cool because he got his mind controlled and he was on top of the Empire State Building. That's all I remember.
Well, that kind of looks like where he... Well, I don't know. He could be on top of anything there, I guess.
Yeah.
Something with
But he's
pigeons.
he's got like saggy boots, so it could be 70s. You don't know.
Yeah, we all wore saggy boots in the 70s.
Dearie me. Anywho, as always, for new issues, especially, very current, latest and greatest, it's available on floppy format and also on digital. Now we do have a bare bones. So listeners, again, if you haven't read this, but you don't mind being spoiled, we've got a gist of what happens, and then Rebecca and I will dive into just the key moments, basically what made this issue, and then any odd comments we may have on writing, art, references, characterizations, that sort of stuff. We'll just bounce around with that. Rebecca?
Yeah. I feel you calling on me to read out the summary.
Excellent. Let me reduce this background music. Hopefully this works. And Rebecca, if you would be so kind.
Let's go. Bare bones. Marc justifies his actions to take control, and it's discovered that although the identities had found harmony fighting the likes of Sun King, Ernst, and Society, Marc felt compelled to stay at the forefront after Age of Khonshu. Crushing the Avengers at the whim of Khonshu had not put Moon Knight in a good stead with the hero community, so measures were made by Marc to portray Moon Knight in a more conventional light. However, there were other reasons that Stephen and Jake were pushed to the background too. Marc's insecurities surface, his reluctance to tell Reese about his DID for fear of losing her, someone he cares deeply about. Also, Marc mentions how both Stephen and Jake are the more appealing sides of Marc, showing how little Marc values his own worth. Elsewhere in the physical world, Moon Knight battles Tutor's assassins Nemean and Grand Mal, reflecting his inner struggle inside, his internal struggle inside. Whilst the mind of Moon Knight is not in harmony, his body suffers, and it's at the hands of Nemean and Grand Mal that it all becomes too much. Thankfully, just as Marc comes to this realization, the realization that it's always better to work together, and as he finally agrees to work with Stephen and Jake, in the outside world, Hunters Moon and Tigra come to Moon Knight's aid.
Thank you, Rebecca. It was a really, without saying, it was a really internal, I guess, issue.
It's what we've all been wanting. I mean, like we've wanted it, and instead of doing it in sections amid other things, this shone the light on what's happening with the DID and the altars and why Marc's fronting for so long. And we get it all at once, and I think, like you said, the action takes very much of a backseat, but it is a direct continuation from issue 13 where you get Nemean and Grand Mal going off, but to the point where I didn't really pay as much attention to the fights. It was more sort of background dressing. Except towards the end to go are they really going to take Marc out? Down, not out. Never out. Yeah,
absolutely. So I guess without saying, first impressions, Rebecca, it was you highly regarded it. It was a good, very enjoyable issue.
I think I said on Twitter, impeccable.
Nice.
I think it was a massive payoff. In a way, I thought we would get it, but it's just really nice to see it done so well, and the way, and referring to all the other runs as well, of sort of pulling it together and sort of correcting, I think, a lot of things that we've internally worried about Moon Knight's how it's talked about DID in the past.
Yeah,
it's kind of like this is like the real refreshing update of someone who's done the reading and spoken to Lena and Douglas, and try to like get that understanding to make sure they're getting the terminology right, but also the sort of emotion sides of it right, not just the sort of and even with some of the issues that we thought were good in the past, they'll end up having solicits that talk about multiple personalities. And it's just nice to see it sort of brought up to date, but in a way that just felt very very easy, you know.
I mean, it's the same sort of effortless kind of style that Jed MacKay has. That's been happening throughout the whole series, and I mean that in the best possible term. It just seems to come so easily to MacKay, and yeah, we can't forget Lena, our fellow ITK community member, consulting as well. I wonder as well, I absolutely love the issue as well, Rebecca, and I wonder during the consultation, because I'm just going to dive into straight one of the points that I picked up, and it interested me was, when we see the conversation, you know how in the TV show you see Stephen Grant talking to Marc through reflections, or you see typically them in a black room or something just talking. Yeah. We see here that each of the alters are in their own environment, but they're still carrying the conversation. So I wonder if that's something that Lena had consulted with, and that's how it is, because it's always kind of fascinated us, I think, of how that works in the internal
I think it's something that that we've touched on in one of the Understanding DID episodes.
Yes.
And look, we all know instinctively that what they did on the TV show isn't accurate, because it needs to be cinematic. Like, we know that not the alters will look like Oscar Isaac kind of thing. And that there's a lot more, most of the conversation will be internal because there's no need to externalize it. But no, I really like that. And I saw a lot of casual readers or fans, people who haven't been listening to our podcast, talk about the different environments and how perfect.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So it's nice to see it was picked up immediately, and I think that's another part where the coloring is so clear. Jake's strip club is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I love how actually
not
MacKay
necessarily strip club.
No, but I like how MacKay riffs on that as well, and he actually has Jake mention or Marc, how come all the strippers look like Marlene? So he actually integrates that into the characterization that is Marc Spector. So really good, and the colors. I mean, oh my gosh, that's why I kind of sighed heavily when I read out her name, Rachelle Rosenberg.
Exactly.
This we can't say,
enough though. If you look at the Stephen panels, I don't think we've seen her do colors like that before. They're very restrained.
Oh yeah, very
Yeah, because like before, it's been lots of blues and oranges and reds and pinks, and like for Stephen, it's almost a white background, like
which I would
black and
kind
white,
of
which is,
I think suits him kind of.
He's perfect. I mean, it's literally perfect. You've got because wherever you think he gets his money from, this is clearly an office building.
Yes. Yes, and he's in the high rise somewhere. That's his kind of setting. As you mentioned, Rebecca, Jake is in, like Jake being the scoundrel, is in like a seedy bar or a seedy club. It's interesting as well that Marc is Mr. Knight. I think we touched that before as well, but it's pretty well established here that Mr. Knight really is just Marc. And it's fantastic. Look, I just I'll kick off with one of the key moments. I guess this whole conversation that he has with Stephen and Jake, and his justification of pushing them to the rear, so to speak, and in the background, is because of what has happened in Age of Khonshu. Like, it went totally bonkers, totally crazy there. So Marc has taken it on himself to say, no, right, look, we're having our look is bad in front of everyone else. I've got to kind of set us straight. And he's very conscious about what other people
think. I wonder if that's because he, as a child, he was the one who had to deal with that. Like, when people were saying, oh, you've got imaginary friend or stuff, he was very aware of how other people reacted to this condition that he was only just starting to see. and not understand.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that he's had to sort of used to hiding it.
Mm-hmm. And really having this representative or symbolic of, I guess, what people within a system maybe go through as well, feeling that I have to try and be normal. There might be this pressure to where society says that, okay, you have DID, you have to try and conform to what society.
I thought it was interesting that the others then call him out on it, but also we realize how much we've kind of been deceived reading it, and that's where Jed does it very cleverly, is that we've heard him talk to Dr. Sturman about how he's got it under control, and we've just kind of gone, oh yeah, he's got it under control, or he's and this is kind of that inkling that maybe it's not, maybe this is a problem too, that Jake and Stephen can see it before we can.
Yes, and Stephen does raise the point that, look, they were harmonious up until the point, and they reference Max Bemis, the Bemis run, the likes of Sun King and Ernst and all that. They were working really well together, and it was only until that Age of Khonshu that I guess, Marc decided to push
down,
them. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It was this big thing that he felt really, I guess, ashamed of, and just wary that the Avengers, that there are all eyes on him. He even gets insecure when the Punisher kind of calls him, and Punisher for all the people, I thought that was very kind of neat in the way that Jed used Jason Aaron's Age of Khonshu to kind of explain what's happening with Marc here. And off the back of that as well, I guess one of the major themes in here is that, and it's reiterated through Stephen and Jake, is that DID is not the problem.
I mean, I think that's it's such a critical line. It was in the preview as well. It's the state of your life, the problems you have, all the things you've done. Has any of that ever stemmed from our condition?
No. Well, they end up just pointing the finger at Marc, actually. It's actually all
amazing.
you.
It's all you. You've lost all the money. You've lost all my friends.
Yeah.
So it's. I think we always wanted that explicitly stated that, I guess his reaction to his condition has caused some of the problems, but that's Marc still.
Yeah. True. But I mean, I like it. It's not kind of hammered, over your head about that point as well. But they do just bring it up.
I think if a therapist said it, it would seem too much. But having it come from, the people who know you best, and know where you're lying to yourself, I guess as well.
Yeah. Oh, and we should
also Marc, what is your own way of making money? Because clearly
I know. I was trying to, where is that? I was trying to read into the panel, and it was just a close up of his fingers digging into the armrest. Yeah. I was like, I was like, what? How are you making it? Is it the midnight mission?
You don't charge anyone. He absolutely doesn't have his own way of making money except to ask the Avengers. So
Yeah. I do kind of, although Stephen and Jake obviously bring out good points, I do kind of feel sorry for Marc as well, because we have seen him, quite low during this series.
We've seen him really low.
Just having a talk with Tigra.
And look, just him just saying that, I never want to be loved, that's why I always win. That's kind of stuff he's heard people say, probably the Zodiac and stuff like that. But they're the ones who are saying you're lying.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So there's a pressure to be normal that Marc has, as well as him. Well, the others calling him out for all the indiscretions, and it's not really the DID as well. And the thing with the love, I thought you're right, actually. That could have been a reference to what Zodiac said. I thought it was a reference again to issue 6 of the Warren Ellis run. He says something about not wanting to be loved, or that's why I don't love.
I think it's a theme that's come up
Yeah,
again and again. But I think
yeah.
like talks, and this is probably just Jed riffing off that, but to make sure it's more impactful as well. But it's certainly stuff that's come up here with like why he doesn't have his old gang around him, and Marlene and Beatrice, and then Zodiac sort of ramming that home, like and even Taskmaster, to be honest,
Yeah, yeah.
sort of saying, you're crazy guy.
Yeah, exactly. And we do get a lot of, like you're speaking of Beatrice, we do get a lot of Bemis references here. I was quite happy to see that. We did get it implied that Marlene and Beatrice had left the country, but to hear her name here, I can't remember if they actually named her before. They probably didn't, but to have her named here was pretty cool. As well. I mean, also again, if sticking with how down kind of Marc is, his self-esteem is really kind of low as well, and that was kind of typified, I think, by the fact that although he wants self-control, right, and he pushes Stephen and Jake back, but he admits as well that he's scared, I guess, of letting them out a bit more because they would be more loved, or they're more affable than himself.
It does seem a little bit of that. It is. I mean, it's kind of that sibling thing, isn't it? It's almost like sibling rivalry, in that you want to be with them, but you don't want them to do better than you. Don't listen, my sisters, to this. Or he's really happy he's made this new group of friends or companions, if they get to meet Stephen and Marc and Jake, they might not only be put off by him having DID, but also that you're right, there's the concern that they might like them more.
Yes, and speaking of friends as well, I mean, we are also talking about, I mean, the whole reason why this kind of almost intervention has come into place is because of the events of was it last issue or the issue before last? No, issue before, issue 12.
Before,
where Marc or Moon Knight was about to kill Zodiac in front of Reese. So that's when Stephen and Jake go, hang on, hey, you've crossed the line. We've kind of agreed. You've kind of forced us into this corner, and we've agreed to kind of take a back seat, but now you've gone too far. And Marc goes into that as well to discuss the importance of Reese to him, and I thought that was really nice.
It was really nice, and it shows very much why Jed picked Reese as the new sort of companion as such. She's a normal person managing a condition.
Yes,
I want to be like her, and it's like, she is, but
Well, there was a point that came later where it is like she's kind of managing her condition, but both Stephen and Jake call out the fact that she's not trying to run away.
She's also not trying to hide it. She's very openly.
Yeah. Which is good. I didn't. I mean, if there's one little quibble, I didn't get that sense of it from Reese. Like she seemed like, remember when she saw the blood on Soldier and she ran away because I think she felt ashamed, or I think she was just overwhelmed with this urge to have the blood. I think she didn't own it then, but
I wonder if they mean though, but with Marc, like she hasn't hidden what she is from Marc, maybe because he knew immediately, because that's how he met her.
Oh yeah,
but she didn't hide it from any of the others either. Like I don't think she's hidden it from Tigra. So you're right, maybe not the world at large, but at least from that sort of friendship group.
Yeah, because having said that, actually, and just thinking it through, I think it was around that time then that Marc has that chat with her, and Stephen and Jake call it out as well. Some of the they quote him basically. Let me just find it. It's towards the end. I said, was it your words? I take my scars and I make them my weapons. That was that conversation that he had with Reese, I think all the way back in issue 1 or 2 or something. And he was just telling Reese to kind of own what she has and use that, the pain or what she first thought was an affliction, to use that against her enemies. So I guess they're feeding that back to Marc and telling him as well, because essentially, again, we see in the real world, Nemean and Grand Mal are actually really beating up on Moon Knight, and they call it out that, look, you're only 1/3 of who you can be because you're so kind of conflicted in your head.
Yeah, because you're always holding it back, and
and it shows as well. That led into why he didn't want to tell Reese. Like, they asked him, why don't you tell her about the DID? And I love that reveal of really vulnerability that, she needs me, but he admits, I need her as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think he does need Reese for like reassurance as well. Like, as much as he helps her, I think the way that he sees her handle herself and her grow, I think that actually just gives him strength. And I think that's basically what he was saying to his alters as well. And at the end, this all really culminates. I mean, we talked about, I think it was Jake. Again, a little call out. I like how the word balloons, or the captions, or whatever you call it, they're coloured for each altar, So I think Stephen's blue, Jake's red, and Marc is green. It all culminates to the fact that towards the end here, the last few panels, Marc, he kind of stutters and, no, I can't. And I originally thought that it was like, I can't, like I can't take this. I can't deal with this. But then he immediately says, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And like, he can't do this alone, can't do it by himself. And so this kind of really, there is a bit of an uplifting feel towards the end of it, because you see a beautiful splash page of Hunter's Moon and Tigra Greer. That were, really great. But not only does he have like a support network outside now, but he comes to the realization that they need to work together, the alters. So I'm very excited to see where that takes him. Maybe a confrontation with Tudor in issue 15, like with a more harmonious Moon Knight. I'm not sure.
Sorry, I was just looking at the cover for 15, so I turned the extra page.
Oh, yes.
It's a really cool cover.
It is a cool cover. I mean, let's, so I'm assuming it looks, again, Segovia, maybe, art. But yeah, we the cover
this
next.
This time they're both in reflections. Hey, that's very MCU aligned.
And I like the water. I like how Jake's in the water.
I like the water, yeah.
That's pretty cool. But again,
but I like the expression on Stephen's face.
Why?
And he's got the Hawkeye bandage.
He does. He's getting a little beaten up there as well. But yeah, I mean, Rebecca, other than those references that we talked about, and I think the portrayal of the environments that the alters are in as well. I mean, I just thought it was a really strong issue.
It was a really emotional issue.
Yeah.
Wow. Like, there's not many times you get to have an extended conversation like that. That's quite so. I really love how it was written. So the fighting is all in the background and kind of not irrelevant, but so you're not distracted from this conversation at all. Yeah.
Well, it's a good way. I mean, we're talking about it, how it ties in to the previous issues. Like this, it's made relevant because we're still looking at the current situation. We're still looking at the assassins coming after Moon Knight, but it's just happening in the background, or while this is happening in his head. I think it's a good way to do it. The action was good. There were a couple of things. I saw Jed commented on how much he loved Cappuccio's art in some of them.
So good, yeah.
There's one where Nemean, he does like a back twist kick up to Marc, and I think Jed mentioned that he always feels like he's got a sore jaw every time he looks at it. It's really cool. Some of the moves are really great. You get the sense of movement here. Marc just kicks him. You just see kind of the movement of his foot, but the attention to detail. The man grabs his cape and then kind of pushes himself upwards and kicks Moon Knight up. I think was really cool. I thought this is the first time we've seen the villains in action, Rebecca. Albeit they're kind of almost incidental because of the background thing. I did like Nemean. I thought Grand Mal was a little bit of a
I didn't get a massive sense of either of them. It
No,
was all I needed for this.
Yes, yeah. I got a bit of a Sabretooth vibe from Nemean.
Well, I think we did the last time, yeah. Anyway.
Oh, we
but
did
yeah.
as well. Okay, I can't
Yeah,
remember.
because it kind of looks that way. So.
Yeah, and Grand Mal. But yeah, I'm assuming we don't see much of them. They're probably in the same vein as Hawley and those other kind of characters that maybe Jed has created
Yeah, it'd be
along the
interesting
way.
to see what goes next.
Mm.
But I don't really mind if I don't see them much again. They're fine.
Oh
They're
yeah, me too.
generic baddies.
Well, I had a little look at issue 13 again just to kind of get reacquainted. I'm just intrigued by this tutor guy. He just
yeah. He's the interesting one, isn't he? And not his flunkies.
Yeah, I mean, but ironically, he's just so aesthetically, he's so bland.
Yeah. To be
so...
fair, Zodiac was a little bit. I don't have a go at me. I know he had the hood, but he wasn't like super interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Yeah, so this is great. I don't know, Rebecca. Do you want to give this a score?
Yeah, I scored it highly. I amended my score a little, but I gave it a 9.5.
9.5.
I'm allowing for a little bit for. I gave it 10 originally, and I downgraded to 9.5 on second reading. I can't tell you why. I just wanted to allow a bit of extra.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, look, similar to yourself, I gave a 9 out of 10, so that's a full moon. Yours is basically a full moon as well, Rebecca. Yeah. Heading
it's
towards
basically a big fuck off moon.
Big fuck, heading towards that, the big fuck off moon. But I mean, I had to just give it a little bit off. I mean, I love the talk and the chat, and I understand the action and how it's utilized here as well.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but I just felt, I don't know, I felt a little wanting a bit more substance with the assassins and the fighting. I understand their role.
Yeah, I get
it's
that.
Just I mean, they're there to fight. We might even see them a bit more later.
Yeah, literally on the flip side, I almost would have been fine with them just sitting down and chatting and not having the background stuff. But
well,
it definitely added interest, like visual interest. Like it gave Rachelle chance to like blow off some colors that are amazing, and the art is amazing. True. I mean, I'm never gonna be too critical of getting extra art, but you know.
No, I want to listen again to our review of issue 1 where we were lukewarm about the art because now
I really don't.
It's crazy.
So bad.
But actually, I agree with you. Like, because I could have easily just read this without the fight scenes in there at all, and I just almost felt as if you either go all the way or you go nothing, you know what I mean? But again, I
also did really like that there was that kind of visual change, so you could you weren't always in one place with it. So,
exactly.
I mean, it's a gut feeling, isn't it? Sometimes scoring is very sort of just how you feel at the time.
I've only taken off the 1 mark. Like it's not like it's like a 2.
Exactly, you've not slammed it, you know.
No, absolutely. So it's just those things. Just really trying to find some points from an already really high standard, I think, comic. So yeah, Loonies. This is really a great thing. I think I've missed a couple of comments here. Oh,
sorry, that was Ozzy.
It's Ozzy?
No, yeah, I had a plate on my desk and the door went and Ozzy just, sorry.
Sorry, Mario, just catching up here because I went full screen when we were looking at the comics. High stakes bingo with Soldier's Mum. Yes. Well, I want to see Soldier's Mum again. I think, I want to see her reaction to Soldier's new look, so to speak.
Yeah, that would be cool. I don't know if we ever will see that, but that would be cool.
Yeah. And he was talking about Black Spectre. Yeah. Sorry, I've lost it now. When that comment was made, Mario. Apologies. I think that's part of the sequence with the janitor in.
I think that's the bit where they were quoting his words.
Right. Okay, so issue 2, still very still in that early phase. Yes, issue 2 where he has that talk with Reese. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's issue 2. So no, thank you, Mario. So Rebecca.
Yeah.
We do have, let me just put that off. Let me turn that off. We do have not just feedback, Rebecca. We have quotation marks.
Sorry.
Thank you, listeners, for dropping your line in. And again, look, a big shout out to Lena and Doug as well. Lena voiced how they're very sad that they weren't able to make it. It's just too early. Sorry. It's just, you can blame.
It has to fit in with my work, so that's what. That's that. No, but it's true. It has to fit in with my work because otherwise, it's usually the middle of the night for me and better for Americans. But
well,
if we're recording midweek, we're stuck around fitting it in around my work. So
you can just blame the countries, Australia, and you can blame
the
United. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Lena. But I'm hoping that you enjoy this discussion just as much as we've enjoyed, your consultation and involvement in issue 14. But Rebecca, we do have a couple here. Would you like to? Do you want to kick off, or do you want to do Lena's one?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Do you have a preference?
No.
I'll take Mario's. So Mario, wow. I mean, really, just wow. It's common wisdom in Moon Knight fandom that the Bemis run is one of the, if not the, worst arcs in the character's history. But Jed not only referenced it in this issue, but also recontextualized it with a minimum of hand-waving. For the first time this run, we meet all of Moon Knight, not just Marc, and their exchanges make for some fantastic writing. Some of it has been mentioned in various interviews, including on the ITK podcast itself, but seeing it all laid out like this really makes this issue a manifesto on the character. It's not just talking heads, of course. We also get to see Mooney fighting Liefelder and Vinetta. Trademark Moon Knight core. At first, I was under the impression it was a silent flashback, but when Jed dropped the line, "Why are you losing the fight?" it all snapped into focus and my jaw dropped. The entire issue is amazing, and other than some minor confusion about the ending, which cleared up on a reread, practically flawless. 10 out of 10, easy. P.S. Special kudos to the Lena system for their consultation. Definitely made this better.
Oh, thank you so much, Mario, and absolutely enjoy your live comments and you joining us on the show as well. So, I mean, highly regarded, Rebecca, similar to ourselves for this issue, a big 10 out of 10. A big fuck off Moon. Now we... I rarely get to swear, Rebecca, so...
I know, me too. It's nice.
It's liberating.
No, because on some of my podcasts, it's so like, don't swear, and I have to try really hard. It's like, there in the thing. Thanks, Connor.
We'll probably be, not played elsewhere, but it doesn't matter. Here is from Lena, and they write in, "It's finally here. I've been waiting a long time to get to discuss this issue with all of you loonies. Apparently, Jed learnt well from the materials that we gave him about DID, both resources from the internet and stories from our own experiences. Because when he sent us this script, there wasn't really anything that I felt I needed to correct." So, wow, good stuff. But both Doug and I gave him some feedback about how this script really resonated with us. From the fear of losing our friends if we tell them about our DID, to the mistaken assumption that things will be more stable if we can keep the others from coming out, which actually causes more instability, to the temptation to blame things on our DID that really come down to bad choices that we have made. There were so many things about the script for this issue that felt true to the experience of living with DID. Hopefully, this issue will begin to help others to understand DID better. I'm sure that a lot of people misunderstood the teaser about a war on two fronts and thought that Jake and Stephen were going to cause more chaos for Marc, but instead they are confronting him for not letting them help enough. As usual, Jed is a master at subverting expectations, and in this case, subverting stigma as well. This should come as no surprise to anyone, but I'm going to give this one a blue moon. Lena, well... Talking about 10 out of 10, talking about 12 out of 10, 100 out of 10, the blue moon comes out. That is beyond 10. So thank you so much, Lena, and thank you so much. That's really great. I mean, I hadn't read your feedback until then. Really eye-opening that those components of the story were ones that really resonated with Lena.
Yep. No, I think it's great. I mean, I think they resonated with many of us, but it's even more perfect for them to for that to be that. I think that's the important thing is they can resonate on different levels with everyone, but it's important that it stays true to the DID. In terms of exactly what Lena says for how we all think about DID and people with DID that we might meet, but it's not. And that's the thing is we can all relate to it in different ways, and it shows that we're all still people, and you shouldn't let things like DID get in the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Of whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that. So
I just thought I'd let you round it out.
To have a lunchtime ramble. Right? The next feedback is from Noel, and he says, maybe my favorite issue from the run so far. I really love having the conversation between the alters take place over Moon Knight's nightly episode. Jed seemed to do his homework on DID with a little help from our friend. Thank you so much, Doug and Lena. Lena, why? Now I'm doing Tiger with Lena. I don't know what's going on. So nice to finally hear them say they're not crazy and not sick. They're just a team, and Marc needs all aspects of himself to fight the good fight. I love Marc trying to compare himself to his new friends, but Jake and Stephen reminding him that they're always there and he's never alone. I had to go back and read the issue twice, once for the dialogue and once for the action. I was so enthralled with the conversation, I pretty much ignored the fight the first time through and had to go back and just read the fight as a story on its own the second time. Beautiful work from all the artists. This gets a big 9.5 from me, a big yellow duck.
No surprises, Noel. Big yellow duck, quack, quack. But it's a great, great summary, I guess, of your thoughts there, Noel, and it echoes with all of ours as well. I'm very grateful for Lena's involvement there. Just the final two, Rebecca. Should I just take both of them? One of them's really short.
Yeah, one of them's really short. It's about the cover only.
Yeah, so first time, I think comment that I'm aware of, Ayrton Lara writes in, hello Ayrton, and he says, cover colorist fucked up, that's the black suit. Yeah.
I mean, it is, but hey.
So I missed that. What is it?
If you go back to the cover, the design looks like the black suit, but it's coloured in white. Like I don't know that it matters. I mean, there's a lot of different suits, but it looks like that's got the chest shield that the black suit.
Oh, has. I see. Right. Yeah. Yes. Well done. Well, it could be true. I was about to say it could be a Spectre.
But we haven't seen him in the black suit this run, so it maybe they just said keep him in a white suit, but it does. I can see why there would be a confusion about that particular Moon Knight suit.
Ah, right. No, thank you so much, Ed. And you confused me just because I was thinking about the Mr. Knight suit, but thank you.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah, I was thinking, is there a black suit that I'm unaware of?
Were you not going like, wait, why is Stephen not in a black suit?
Yeah, exactly. These questions in my head. And finally from Jonathan, thank you so much, Ed, and finally Jonathan Sapsed, one of the valued patroonies. Thank you, Jonathan. He writes in as well. Jonathan's actually, I don't know if you've seen, Rebecca, he picked up some of Hickman's. Gosh, what is it? Mind blank. The guy that did the artwork with Hickman in Black, White, and Blood.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't.
Bacallo, Chris Bacallo.
Oh, nice.
I think he got a page from that. When Future Mooney and Little Girl were walking in profile and there was just an expansive space.
Oh, yeah, it's a lovely page.
It's fantastic. Anyway, Jonathan writes in, a great issue that shows an original take on the alters. It references Bemis, as Mario says, but it also undoes all the therapeutic work from the Lemire run, where Marc said goodbye to the alters and Khonshu. Khonshu was back in 11, and now here are the alters. It's an affirming message on DID in a way, and the fact that it's all going on during the fight is a clever touch. The first page is a nice return from Cappuccio, and the colours are really great on that page, and also showing the contrasting alters in their panels. Yes, I think as Rebecca pointed out as well, the colours very well used there. Rebecca, I don't know, did you get the sense of that? I didn't. I lazily didn't bother to try and figure out how that worked in with Lemire.
I didn't either. Well, the
Lemire I thought they combined at the end.
The Lemire run seems like it ends in. Yeah, it's been a while since I've read it. I thought they just. I don't know.
I thought it was more of an affirming thing that they were working together as well. But
kind of uncertain.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't know what the message is if they go away. Or combine. I think that they just come to some sort of
I think they.
I don't know. And then you get into the Bemis run. I think the Lemire run is kind of a story on its own. It doesn't necessarily lend itself well to continuity. Like from when it ends, from where it ends, not from what happens in it does, but where it ends. I think because before Bemis got the run, we were talking about how hard it would be to follow that.
Yes,
there's no real hook to go back in with.
Well, as Jonathan says, Khonshu is taken out at the end of at the end of the Lemire run. So, but we get him in the Bemis run. So,
it's always back. It's comic book logic.
Yeah, exactly. But Jonathan, great comments. Thank you so much as well. And of course, I mean, we can talk it till the cows come home about the colours and the art. It's just phenomenal stuff. I took this is how sad I am, Rebecca. I was reading it on my iPad and I took a screenshot of that first page. Oh, just said I'm going to put that in the back pocket. I'm going to use that because that's so nice. It's just really good. So let me just show those who may be looking. That one, just brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yes. So, anyway, that pretty much wraps up our review for this. If you haven't, please, Loonies, go out and get it. Sorry for spoiling it all. But please do pick yourself up a copy. Rebecca, anything you want to shout out? Any upcoming episodes from your other podcasts?
No, probably a DCAU one, but we did some bad films recently.
Oh, no.
I'm not in a good mood with DC movies right now. So
that's fair enough. No worries. Well, as always, you can always catch Rebecca on DCAU and Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. Those links are in the show notes as well, and they're part of the collective, so you can easily catch them from that link there. Next phase, we'll be having an Isla Ra sessions.
Nice. I hear it's a good one.
Yeah, so invited Drew Toombs, one of the top tier patroonies, over. We did it in the Midnight Mission now, Rebecca. So the first Isla Ra set in the Midnight Mission. Nice. So we get to meet Reese, we get to meet Soldier. It was a lot of fun, and we get to go through Drew's Isla Ra books, which are very cool. Very nice. And I have chatted briefly with you, Rebecca, as well. The week after that. So 298, Loonies, we might have a special treat for you. Rebecca and I managed to have a chat with a couple of creators, so we might release that.
Very cool chats.
Yeah, very fun chats. Almost didn't happen, both of them.
The story behind the chats is almost as fun as the story of the chat.
Yes, but so keep an eye out for that. We did mention it before, but I'll let you stew on that, Loonies, as to who we're talking about. Kind of leave you hanging. As always, a big thank you to our patroonies. Go check out patreon.com/ITKMoonKnight for the details there, and see if you're keen to become a patroonie yourself. You can have some exclusive bonus content. I'm going to be releasing a bonus episode for August. This month I'll be chatting Predator and Prey. Why not? Because the movies come out and they've got a new comic book series, so it's kind of similar to Moon Knight. There's a lot of material all of a sudden, so we'll be checking that out. But a big thanks, of course, to Odin, Daniel, Drew, Frank, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, Anthony, Russell, Michael, Mario, Matthew, and Jonathan. Thank you so much for all your support. As mentioned, yes, we can't do this without you. We can't do this fantastically kind of formatted show without you. A big thanks to Odin Sword. Check him out on Drinking Marvel podcast. Also Frank the Think Tank. He's on Instagram, Moon Knight Visions. Daniel Dewing's fantastic Fringe Night. It's up to issue 6, I think. Original indie comic based on Erie, Pennsylvania's very own mysterious superhero. There's more info on him at cons as well. Go check it out. Support him on patreon.com/FringeNight27. Drew Toombs, master of the turntables. Check him out on soundcloud.com/Toombs, as well as Lurk Music with the ck.bandcamp.com. And finally, Dreamland Comics. Use the code MOON to get 20% off their stuff online, and CLZComicsCollectors.com. Think about getting your comic book database in order. It's for a small penny. You can do that.
No, I can't do that. Everyone else should do it to shame me for the fact that I cannot do it. Nobody mentioned that I'm a trained librarian and I have the messiest comic collection of anyone I know.
I was about to say, if you have a system of your own, Rebecca, that's fine. That's cool.
My system is called shove on shelf, keep away from Aussie.
Exactly. And finally, Rebecca and myself, and there are plenty of others as part of the collective. Fantastic shows out there. Go check them all out. Gamma Charge, the Hulk podcast. We've also got DCAU, of course, the DC Animated Universe podcast. And I'll chuck in Trapped in a World, the Howard the Duck podcast. All fun shows. Finally, email us at feedback@itkmoonnight.com. We don't get many emails. It'd be cool to get an email. So check feedback at itkmoonnight.com. We've got a website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, Get Vocal, and Podchaser. And finally, if you'd like to review us, please do. It'll be a lot of fun. Even bad reviews, we welcome them. We like to improve. Let us know. But yeah, thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff. I've heard you've got plenty of work to do, of course, yeah?
Yeah.
Don't think about it. Hang on. Let me just... What did I didn't do this properly. A big thank you, there we go, to everyone. And I still have the quotation mark going. Big thank you to all our... There they go. There are all our Patreon members.
You got it.
Got it there, and that's all I say. See, I didn't even have to say it all, Rebecca. It was all there. I had it.
It was all there, and you said it anyway.
Okay, I'll do it next time. I'll make sure to just flash those up. Anyway, everybody, have a great one. Thank you, as always. May Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.
Hi, I'm Pax.
And I'm Abigail.
Welcome to Ghost Spider Groupies, a podcast dedicated to Gwen Stacy of Earth 65, also known as Spider-Gwen and Ghost Spider, where we review her comics, discuss news, and give our opinions about all things Gwen 65.
Right now, we are reading through Gwen's main solo series. Each week, we break down a new arc and discuss our and the listener's thoughts. Tune into each episode and come on this journey through the character's history with us, available wherever you listen to your podcasts.